Hello there, I'm Thomas Hatsios, the British American pilot of the US Air Force, flying the Boeing 777-300ER in tonight's flight from Zurich International Airport back to Zurich International Airport. We're gonna be flying tonight over Zurich, Switzerland and Germany, and then coming back to the Zurich International Airport runway 14 for an ILS localizer routing. Right now I'm in the cockpit for the pre-takeoff preparation of the Boeing 777-300 ERX of the PMDG simulation and Macros Flight Simulator X. So I'm gonna start showing you the cockpit instruments and the displays and also other systems of the Boeing 777-300 airplane tonight. I'm gonna start with the primary flight display. Uh, uh, that displays the airspeed indicator, the airspeed tape, the ground speed, the airspeed selected from the autopilot and flight director system panel, the barometric altitude above the sea level, the radio altitude above the ground level, the rate of climb descent of the aircraft in tens, hundreds and thousands of feet per minute, and also the barometric altitude setting in inches of mercury or hectopascal. We also have the magnetic heading and track, the magnetic north pole and the magnetic variation depending on where we are in the world. We have the flight mode annunciator with the autopilot and the auto throttle, lateral and vertical navigation modes, the angle of attack of the aircraft, and also the attitude indicator with the pitch ladder in degrees and the bank angle in degrees of the aircraft, and also the flight director for manual guidance, the flight director crossbars, the autopilot crossbars for automatic guidance, and also the ILS localizer crossbars for the automatic landing system. We have also the navigation display. The navigation display that displays the airports, the waypoints, the navigation, the VOR stations, the ADS, and also we have the terrain weather reflections from the radar. So you can see here the navigation display, the primary flight display with flight mode annunciator. So the navigation display also displays the weather radar with the weather reflections and the terrain reflections. So we have the terrain map with the elevation of the ground level and also the sea, the lakes, the rivers, and we have green, yellow and red for the elevation. And the distance range in nautical miles. We have the heading again for track, and also we have the wind speed direction vector, and also the ground speed of the aircraft, the RLP and the NP, the required navigation performance, and the acquired navigation performance of the aircraft. So we have also other aircraft flying around over an aircraft, and also we can create a flight plan using the flight management computer, a route with a departure airport and departure runway, and a destination airport and runway, and the intermediate waypoints and fixes we're going to be overflying in a vertical and lateral profile. So we're going to use the flight management computer also to display the route of the aircraft. And the navigation display, we're going to use also the autopilot and flight director system panel that contains the autopilot engage and disengage switches, the auto throttle left and auto throttle right engage and disengage switches, the flight director engage and disengage switch, the airspeed select knob. You can select the airspeed in nautical miles per hour knots or in Mach speed depending on the flight level we fly. And also select the modes like flight level change, climb continuous or auto throttle hold. So we have the fixed thrust modes like the climb continuous for maximum climb thrust or idle thrust for descent, and the variable thrust modes for cruise and approach and landing. We have also the LNAV and the VNAV, the lateral navigation and the vertical navigation of the aircraft again, which is interconnected with the flight management computer inputs. We have also the bank angle limit in degrees and the heading select knob. We have the heading select hold switch, and we have the vertical rate of climb and descent in tens, hundreds and thousands of feet per minute, and also the flight path angle in degrees. the aircraft can climb and descend. And we have the altitude select node, the altitude hold switch, the board localizer switch, and the approach for a node to land function of the autopilot of the Boeing 737-300 ER aircraft. So you can see here we have the primary flight display, navigation display, the autopilot and flight director system panel, the upper and the lower ACAS, and the thrust levers of the aircraft. We have also the overhead panel, the electrical, the hydraulic, over here the electrical, the flight control computers, the ADIRU, the hydraulic system, the fuel system, electronic engine control for the engines and the auto start, and the pressurizer from the engine system, the bleeder. So we have the flight controls here, the yoke of the Boeing 777 and the rudder pedals. So I'm gonna show you also these systems like the thrust levers, how to use the thrust levers to actuate the thrust, how to use the flight controls, the yoke, the flaps, the slots, the horizontal tail frame stabilizer, and also the upper and the lower ACAS engine education controller system display, and the multifunction display of the aircraft. I'm gonna show you what it displays when we move the thrust levers and other systems, like in the overhead panel we have the electrical, the left and the right engine drive and IDGs, integrated drive generators, the batteries, the APU start switch, and we have also the flight control computers, the ADIRU, the air data units, reference unit that controls and displays all the air data using the primary flight display, like the airspeed, the altitude, the rate of climb descent, the radio altitude, the GPS position, and the gyroscopic acceleration, deceleration, and the magnetic heading. Also we have all this is being controlled and displayed by the ADIRU, the air data unit. I'm going to show you in the overhead panel. So we have the left and the right engine, IDGs, integrated drive generators, electrical power for the aircraft, aluminum. I'm going to show you later the hydraulic pumps, the fuel system, the electronic engine control for the engines, the auto start, and the pressurizer and the cabin pressurization. So we have the bleeder and cabin pressurization systems. So I'm gonna start showing you all these systems. So thank you very much again. I'm Thomas. That is the British American pilot flying the Boeing 777-300 ER in tonight's flight. So I'm gonna start right now. Then I also forgot to mention we're gonna make an engine start demonstration. We're gonna shut down the engines and restart and make up a flight management computer flight plan, and then fly the aircraft for a while. So for a complete flight. So I'm gonna start here. So we have about an hour. About an hour 5 minutes left. So you can see here we have the primary flight display. You can see the airspeed tape with the airspeed indicated, the airspeed selected from the autopilot and flight director system panel, the altitude selected from the autopilot flight director system panel. And you can see here the settings, the heading, the airspeed, and the altitude. And we have them displayed with magenta color or purple. So we have the radio above the ground level and the heading. So you can see also the altitude tape here with the altitude above the sea level. As I told you, radio altitude above the ground level, and the barometric centimeters of mercury. The heading selected, magnetic heading, or track, the takeoff ground, the pitch ladder in degrees. You can see I'm gonna set later the autopilot some modes to show you what it does, and the bank angle in degrees. The rate of climb and descent in 100,000 feet per minute. You're gonna see the needle here moving, the angle of attack of the aircraft as its size, and the flight mode annunciator with the autopilot and the auto throttle later, the transition modes and navigation display. You can see the airports, the waypoints, some other aircraft flying around us, the terrain level displayed with red. We have the Swiss Alps, and with green we have the valleys. So we have France, Germany, Switzerland here, all these airports, and we have the GPS position of the aircraft. We have again the track, magnetic heading or track over here, and the ring with the distance in nautical miles. The ground speed, the wind speed, the next waypoint we're going to be flying, the required navigation performance and the required navigation performance over here, and the GPS also information. So we have here also north reference or normal, so you can change the true or magnetic like this. So you can change using this switch the magnetic and true heading over here north reference. So now we have, you can see the true track true, and here now we have the magnetic again. Also we can set here inches of mercury or hectopascals, the meters, so you can see the difference again. We have the meters, 3000 meters for the altitude we're gonna be flying, hectopascals over here, 1013 hectopascals. So we have the transporter here that displays the other aircraft and also sends our own aircraft position, heading, and airspeed. So we have also the weather and terrain radar, some other information. We have the heading. I told you the autopilot and flight director system panel here, so we can set different settings. I will use like this the flight level change, so you can see these switches are depressible. So we can set some airspeed here. We can select dedicated airspeed or Mach like this with this setting. We have again the auto throttle left and right over here. The autopilot engage and disengage the nav, the VNAV. So we disconnect the autopilot like this. We have the flight director on and off here. So we have to reset again. We would turn off the autopilot and the flight director. So you can see the autopilot, the flight director. We have the heading now over here. We set the airspeed, as you see. So we have for the airspeed the flight level change, the auto throttle, the glide continues, the LNAV and the VNAV. These switches. I'm gonna set now the heading here, the bank angle limit for the autopilot when we fly, and here I'm gonna set the heading in 136 degrees magnetic or true for the runway. You can see also track. You can set the hold, and here the altitude. I'm gonna set another altitude like 35,300. We can use the hold either way over here. So now we have a heading, flight level change speed, and flight director. As you can see, also the altitude we're gonna be flying over the altitude. So maybe we have a few more minutes for this. So you can see again, as I told you, the information displayed. So we can change connecting the autopilot here. The screen light, you're gonna see the autopilot connected. AP, same information again. We can use other the other way, the altitude hold with the autopilot or flight director, it doesn't matter. So you have the altitude now hold for this altitude 35,300 with this airspeed 253 and 136 the heading. this is after takeoff. So when I use vertical speed of over here, so you can see vertical speed descent, how many degrees you wish to descend the airplane, or climb. So you can use the climb, you will see the plus. So you now have the flight path angle here instead of the vertical speed. So you have here the flight path angle selected for the pitch ladder in degrees. So if you connect the other the vertical speed, you will select how fast the rate of descent, like minus or plus. So you can select, I will select later the flight level change speed with the autopilot, see the difference. So now you have the vertical rate of climb descent here in thousands of feet per minute. This tick mark to follow manually or automatically over here as you climb or descend. So you have the vertical speed. I will connect now again the flight level change, see the other the difference, flight level change speed. So this is all the modes you can connect. I will show you now how to disconnect the autopilot here. So you come over here, you press this switch over here, you press this out, and you have the disconnect. You will see, again maybe one more time. So you will see the warning coming here, the red warning, and here in the upper ACAS the autopilot disconnected with red light. So we have no autopilot now here. This is the flight director information and guidance. So you fly manually, so you cancel the warning. We can reset the autopilot like this. We still have the autopilot disconnect, so we can do another thing here, and we have about an hour left about for this flying. So we can press this switch here in the yoke, the control wheel. Press it one time, disconnect the autopilot. Press it second time to confirm the disconnect action. So it doesn't have to reset anything here. So we have another flight director on. I'm gonna show you the thrust levers. You can see I told you about the auto throttle. So we have the auto throttle disconnect switch like this. This is the takeoff go around switch. So if I press this, it will arm the auto throttle. So we have to disconnect the auto throttle again. Let's slow down the airplane. So this is how you disconnect the auto throttle using the side stick here, instinctive push buttons, how we call them in the Airbus. So you press these switches here, you disconnect the auto throttle. You can move one throttle at a time or two. This is also a few more switches. You have the speed brake here, extend and retract. Also later what you can do with that, you have the horizontal tail trim stabilizer, the tabs here normal and alternate. You have the fuel control to the engine, fuel control here left and right, fuel flow to the engine. You have the flap settings here, up and down. You can see the level of degrees, and also you have the horizontal tail trim. As I told you, the stabilizer. If you have a failure of the C or the R hydraulic system, you can disconnect the auto trim function like this using these guarded switches. So we have also the fire extinguishers for the left and right engine. We have the horizontal tail trim stabilizer, the position here in degrees, and we have the parking brake connect and disconnect here. So you can see here we have also the stabilizer trim position with this switch here. Also the aileron trim. The position, but you have to set the aileron and the rudder trim over here in this panel. So you can see the rudder trim on degrees here, and the aileron and the rudder switch. But we normally fly mostly with the elevator switch up and down. So I'm gonna talk to you about the thrust levers of the aircraft. You can see also we have the thrust reverse here. So if I press and pull this up, this panel, you will see the thrust reverse being built. So we have the thrust reverses of the aircraft now open, the blocker doors. So they reverse the flow of the airplane's exhaust from the engines, from the turbojet engines. So you can cancel, you can retract also the speed brakes and extend again. And you see also the other side, the front, the intake of the fan. You can also cancel using this side and extend again like this. So you can see this thrust reverse, the blocker doors open like this. So this is how you use the thrust reverses for the Boeing 777-200ER. I will go now inside again. You have the landing gears here, the alternate and normal. I'm gonna come to the thrust levers. You have the landing gear extend and retract, normal and alternate here. You have a failure to use the alternate, also the flaps maybe override ground proximity. You have the auto brake. It is used mostly for landing or ejected takeoff. We have the disarm. You can see the Boeing 777, the trademark of the airplane. We have, as I told you, the overhead panel. I'm gonna come later. So this is the pedestal. This is the radio communication panel. So I'm gonna start talking to you about the thrust levers of the aircraft we use for this aircraft or any other airliner. The thrust levers to actuate the engines, the turbofan turbojet engines thrust. So I'm gonna show you now what I mean. So when you move the thrust lever, so you connect the autopilot and the auto throttle, you give a signal to the FADECs. The FADECs are the full authority digital electronic control computers, one installed per engine. Dual channel redundancy. If one engine fails, the other takes. If one channel of the FADECs of the full authority digital electronic control computers fails, the other takes over. So this computer controls and monitors all the engines function indications and warnings, and also so we have the N1, which is the low speed, low pressure compressor and turbine of the turbofan turbojet engine, the low speed shaft of the turbofan turbojet engine. We have the exhaust gas temperature per engine. We have the N2, which is the high speed, high pressure compressor and turbine, and the high speed shaft of the turbofan turbojet engine. We have the fuel flow per engine per hour in thousands of kilograms or thousands of pounds. We have the oil pressure, oil quantity, oil temperature, and the vibration of the N2 states of the engine. So also we have the outflow air, the pressurized air from inside the engine, 5th and 9th stage of the blades. We have the blades stages in the south. We have also the bypass air, which is used for the thrust reverse also. And so we have the fifth and ninth stage. We have the outflow regulator valve, so also the fabrics control the overpressure inside the engine. We have an overpressure, they open the outflow valves to release all the pressure inside the engine. We have an under pressure to close the setting of the outflow valves to increase the pressure inside the turbo engine. Also, this is used for controlling the pressure and the fuel mixture. As we climb higher, we use higher airspeed, so we have to use different air fuel mixture each time because we have more an increase of the rate of flow of the air mass from the front fan stage, from the fan of the turbofan engine, the suction of the air. So we have to control all the time the fuel mixture, and if we climb higher, we have optimization of the performance of the aircraft because we have lower air pressure, and we have also lower oxygen mixture, so from the atmosphere. So we have to control manually the fuel mixture. We can use the computer, the FATEX setting storage, digital electronic control computers to control the fuel mixture all the time. So we also control with the FATEX the engine start, engine shutdown, and other functions. So I will come and show you how to use the thrust lever. So it's a good thing to have the FATEX installed in your airplane engines. We have two engines installed in this aircraft, one left and right wing for redundancy and symmetrical thrust. So I'm gonna show you how to use now the thrust levers. Then I'm gonna talk to you about the flight theory of the Boeing 777-300 airliner. How we're gonna use all these things for flying this aircraft. So we have about 30. So you can see here we have, as I told you, the thrust levers. You can see if we move the thrust levers forward, the speed brakes, if it is extended, it will come into our retract. So you have this warning here, you need to cancel. So you can see I'm moving the thrust levers into a new position. You will see the FATEX will command the thrust required over here. So you can see the difference if I increase or decrease the thrust required from the thrust levers position. Also it takes some time for the engines to spool up in the commanded position and the actual position with the brake seated area. You can see the indications, the limits 104.6% for maximum continuous thrust, the green limit with the yellow and the red, some never exceeded. Also the exhaust gas temperature. So this is the N1 with the low speed, low pressure compressor and turbine, and low speed shaft of the turbofan engine, the exhaust gas temperature per engine, the duct pressure, the outflow pressure from the engines, the pressurized air, and which is also used for cabin pressurization system. Some the N2, which is the high speed, high pressure compressor and turbine, and the high speed shaft of the turbofan engine, the fuel flow per engine per hour, 1000 kilograms or 1000, right now it's 1000 pounds, the oil pressure, oil temperature, oil quantity, and the vibration of the N2 stage of the engine. So you have also some other information here. If you have some warnings, the doors of the parking brakes, the flap settings here. I'm gonna show you later for the flight controls of flaps, and the landing gear is down or up. The total fuel on board in thousands of kilograms, and the temperature of the fuel. So right now I'm gonna show you the thrust levers, just so you, so I will come later to that. So for this aircraft right now, I'm gonna talk to you about the flight theory of the airplane. So I show you what the FATEX display, the full authority, the electronic control computers are displaying these displays when you use the engines. Also, when you connect the autopilot, the products also are connected. So are commanded. So for this aircraft, the Boeing 777-300ER, right now we have 254,000 kilograms of takeoff weight, or 533,000 pounds, which is below the maximum takeoff weight for this aircraft. So from these 254,000 kilograms, we have 46,000 kilograms of fuel on board for 102,000 pounds, which is only 30% of the total fuel we can take for flying. And also we have 30,000 kilograms of passenger cargo, or about 46,000 pounds, which is below the maximum also. So we have in total 246,000 kilograms, or 521,000 pounds. We need to use 15 degrees of flaps for takeoff in the runway, and 4 degrees of horizontal tail trim stabilizer. So we're gonna need about 154 knots, or nautical miles per hour for takeoff speed, or 270 kilometers an hour. We're gonna need also a little bit higher airspeed, maybe for flying, and then coming back for landing, depending on the altitude of the aircraft and the flap settings. So we're gonna use the full thrust takeoff. We need to overcome the stall speed. The stall speed is gonna make the wings of the aircraft stall and make the aircraft fall back into the ground, not generate the lift it needs for flying, given an angle of attack of the airfoils. So we need to overcome the stall speed and have the effective lift from the wings. The lift force is the one that makes the aircraft airborne into the air. Overcomes the weight of the aircraft as is equal to the mass of the aircraft times the acceleration of the Earth's gravity. So I'm going to use the Newton's first, second, and third law of kinematics of motion, the Bernoulli theory of fluids, and also other physics principles in aeronautical engineering and aerospace engineering. So you and explain you the flight theory of the Boeing 777-300 aircraft, or other flying airplanes or flying machines. So I'm gonna start showing you how the aircraft wings work and produce the necessary lift. Also how to use the thrust levers, the thrust from the engines to have the necessary forward propulsion to accelerate the aircraft forward. We have a few more minutes left to go. So you can see the wings here of the airplane. We can see that the wings surface area holds the weight of the aircraft, as you can see. We have the two engines installed symmetrically, the left and the right, symmetric thrust. So the wings of the airplane are responsible. The engines are moving forward. You can see the vectors from the front fan also to the exhaust gases. So the engines move the aircraft forward. The wings are responsible for creating the lift. You can see here we have the 25% of the mean aerodynamic chord position. It's the position where the stall begins. The airflow detaches from the wing. Also, it's the position of the maximum aerodynamic lift. It's also the position of where the center of gravity of the aircraft is being located. We can shift the center of gravity of the aircraft forward or aft this position by moving passenger cargo and fuel around the airplane. So you can see also the bottom surface of the wings is generally speaking more flat. So as the aircraft accelerates, the airflow moves slower below the wings, so we have lower air pressure. We have higher air pressure below the wings. So the air pressurizes the aircraft wings up into the air if we reach the takeoff speed. You can see also the top surface of the wings has higher curvature, is more curved. So the airflow of the air mass as the air travels through the wings, the air mass, we have higher airspeed above the wing. So we have lower air pressure above the wing, which creates a suction that pulls up the aircraft up into the air. So we have negative pressure, we have positive pressure below the wings, a higher pressure with lower airspeed of the airflow. and we have a higher airspeed with lower pressure, negative pressure above the wings. So you can see this makes the aircraft airborne into the air. You can see also they told you we have the wings called the weight of the aircraft. Also you can see we have the flight control, the ailerons, the spoilers, the elevator tail, here the horizontal tail of the aircraft. So this is used the Newton's physics and the Bernoulli theory of fluids. I will explain you a few more principles now for the flight theory. So you can see we have the horizontal tail here. We have the center of gravity, as I told you, of the airplane. So from the center of gravity all the way back to the horizontal tail, or left and right, the ailerons of the spoilers. So the vertical tail, we have the moment arms. The moment arms from physics is times the distance, or the lever arm. And we have times the distance from the center of gravity all the way back to the horizontal tail over the surface area of the horizontal tail or the elevator, or the rudder, or the ailerons and the spoilers. So this is used for airflow deflection of the moving air mass. So it's times the distance from the center of gravity all the way back to the horizontal tail over the surface area of the horizontal tail or the elevator, over the airflow per second times the airflow per second times the acceleration of gravity, and you can pitch up the aircraft up into the air, or descend, or turn left, or turn right using this force through these vectors here, from the nozzle of the aircraft all the way back to the tail, transversing the center of gravity and other positions. So this is the general speaking flight theory of the Boeing 777-300ER. Now I'm going to show you the flight controls, how to use the flight controls, then make the engine start demonstration. So I presented you the flight theory of the airplane, the principles using the physics. So I'm gonna show you now how to use the flight controls after you apply the engine thrust for moving the aircraft forward. So you can see here I'm back into the cockpit now again. So you can see here we have the elevator up and down, the ailerons and spoilers, and the rudder pedals. We also have this for the nozzle steering. This is not a flight control, but we have to use it for takeoff. So you can see here I use this side stick here, this Lszh Extreme 3D, for pitching up and pitching down the airplane. Also the other side, so you can also bungle left and bungle right. You can hold neutral, you can use the horizontal tail trim stabilizer also for stabilizing the aircraft in the flight, using the horizontal tail deflection up and down. You use this trim over here or here, as I have it in the side stick. So you can see we have a proportional movement of the side stick deflection and the flight controls over here. So also the other side, which is interconnected every time like this. So you can climb, you can descend, you can bungle left and bungle right. You can use, I'm gonna show you now the outside view of the same principle, and then come to the engine start demonstration stage. So I will come here. So I will show you now how to use the side stick again from the outside view. So you can see having the side stick again, the deflection of the elevator of the horizontal tail. and the horizontal tail trim, the rudder pedals also left and right, the ailerons and the spoilers left and right, bunker all neutral, so you can climb, you can descend also the airplane. You have proportional side stick deflection, the flight controls deflection. Also, I forgot to show you this. We have also the thrust levers here. You can actually the thrust, using the thrust levers up and down like this. So we come now to the rest of the flight controls. Now we come to the overhead panel. So use the electronic engine control when starting the engines. Also the other side. One starts with the ability, the left and the right engine IDGs, the great drive generator, one installed per engine in the gearbox. So we have the horizontal shaft drive producing alternate tuning through the IDGs with great drive generators, which are bipolar north and south or electromagnetic alternators, produce alternate tuning through electromagnetic induction. 120,000 kilowatt, 120,000 watts per engine, 400 hertz frequency, 120 volts. You can transform this into direct current this alternator using the transformer rectifiers. You have also the battery 28 volts, 48 hours, and the LTU battery. You can convert this current also into this direct current alternate using the static inverters. You can do also this more clearly using the Boeing 737 instead of the 777. So I'm going to show you also the hydraulic system, the pumps installed for left and right engine, and the air pressurizer C1 and C2, which use the pressurizer from the engines for the hydraulic fluid. All this in the overhead panel. So we have about a few more minutes left to go for this flight, so I need to be a little bit more brief. We can come here, show you this side, the overhead upper panel, so you can see a nicer view here of the cockpit over this side. You can see the same instruments here. I told you these switches here, the fuel flow. I'm gonna set the flaps up maybe to the 20 degrees, 15 degrees right now. So you will see the flaps move up to 15 degrees over here. So you can see all the information again, the autopilot here, how it is set more clearly. Also the instruments, all come in the overhead panel. You can see we have some controls for maintenance in the ground for the hydraulics. For instance, we have the circuit breakers of the systems here, some systems. Over here and here. So here we have the Ardiro, the overhead panel. So we have over here the Ardiro, the air data in XR reference unit that displays the air data. Over here the GPS position and the altitude of the aircraft. We have the primary flight control computers, the thrust asymmetry compensator. I'm gonna start the APU now. To the start position, the battery, the APU generator battery, the backup generators, and the primary IDG, the great drive generator, left and right engine for alternating, the hydraulic pumps here, the window heat, the ground proximity. So if I turn off the hydraulic pumps, for instance, you will see some things happening here, some fault will come up over here. So we have the fault, and we have the full messages for these systems failing over here. The flight control, we have an alternate flaps, hydraulic pressure, auto brakes flaps. So this is all the systems failing for this. I'm gonna start the hydraulic pumps again to be on and wait for a couple of seconds to be energized. So we have the fault still on and then set to the auto. So we have also the engines. I told you the great drive generators. We connect like this. So we have it again. The meters over here. So I'm gonna show you also. We have the window heat, the passenger oxygen, the cargo fire, APU fire, the electronic engine control for the engines, the auto start system for the engines. So I'm gonna set this to the normal, the fuel jettison, we can dump fuel in flight. So let this to the close. The fuel, the left and the right wing, the center tank here. You can see the pressure is on because there is enough fuel right now. It's only in the left and the right wing, not the center. The corrosion valves and the line of the fuel. The wing and engine, the RDI here system, auto. The lighting system of the aircraft and the windshield wipers here, left and right. We also have the pressurizer. I'm gonna show you left engine, right engine. I'm gonna turn off all the systems, and also the APU. We need the APU for starting the engine. So if I'm gonna turn off all this, you will see the duct pressure decreases from the outflow valves, and also we have all these failures. So you will see also the hydraulic system failing because of this. We have no little hydraulic here. Hydraulic pressure demand C1 and C2, and we have no pressurization for the cabin pressurization system. And we need also this the APU driven admitted air for starting the engine. So this is the cabin pressurization system here, normal, automatic or manual. In manual we use the outflow valves open and close to pressurize the cabin and select a landing altitude. So this is the general principle of the overheat panel here. I'm gonna use now this the lighting here. So I'm gonna use this controller now. So you have to modify a couple of things. So this is the primary flight management computer. This is the displays the systems. So you have the status. You can see the APU has started now. The oxygen and the hydraulic system. The normal menu. Before start, the checklist what you need to do. Other items also after start flying. The checklist is complete. If we have a failure in one system of the aircraft, the communications, the navigation, you can see the doors of the aircraft now are closed, so the cabin of the aircraft can be pressurized. The landing gear, you can see the pressure of the tires and the temperature of the brakes. The electrical autos to the left and the right engine, IDC, the backup generators and the APU, 35,000 kilovolts, 130,000 kilovolts left and right engine, the backup and also the APU. So this is the electrical diagram in the main battery, the voltage and the average, also the APU. So we have also the contactors. We have the hydraulic system here. Left and right engine pumps. I told you where the hydraulic fluid goes. The systems don't need hydraulic fluid to function. The hydraulic fluid quantity, the pressure, 3000 psi. Left engine. You can see left engine, right engine here, and the left electric, right electric, and the pressurizer here for this function. Also the fuel system. we have the fuel, the center tank, the left wing and the right wing, the quantity of the left and the right wing tanks. Also, maybe show you here. I need to do that. Fix this pump here. So we go back. You can see the engine here with the low and high pressure fuel valves, the APU also with the direct curing, and the center tank, the crossfeed zone, and the minimum fuel temperature, the fuel temperature right now. And the total fuel on board in thousands of pounds, the air system, left engine, right engine, pressurizer from the 5th and 9th stage for hydraulic fluid pressurization, air conditioning, ventilation, wing and engine RDIs, and cabin pressurization. You can see the hydraulic again system here receive the pressure in from the engines and the APU we're gonna use for starting the engine. So if I increase the thrust from the thrust levers from the engines, you will see also the pressurizer from the engines bleed, increase or decrease from these stages. Also from the APU I'm gonna use for starting the engines, the flight controls. Here you can see we can extend the speed brakes. Here you will see the speed brakes extend. You can see the flight controls movement, left, right, iron spoilers, the horizontal tail here and the vertical tail and the stabilizer trim. So this is what you achieve by moving these flight controls here. Also the rudder pedals and the other side here. So you can see everything is moving and function properly here. So we go back to the modes, to the engine again. So we go here again. We need to shut down the engines now, make the engine start demonstration. So we shut down both engines. You will see the overhead panel, the configuration. We have the engine shut down here, the message. The N1 decreases the exhaust gas temperature. Also the N2, the fuel flow also decreases. So you can see we need to we have the spinning of the left and the right and the left engine here is decreasing rapidly. We have only pressurizer. So now we need to restart both left and right wing engine. On the overhead panel we use the restart. So you'll see the N1 again increases the pressure insertion from the APU above 20%. Fuel flow is 0, but we can start making fuel. So you can see the front fans start increase the rate of rotation of the front fan. So we admit the fuel now into the engine. So you will see the fuel flow after a second from 0 is increasing rapidly. Also the spinning of the fans, of the front fans of the airplane increase. So we can now start. We have only a couple of things left to do. Only we need to set up the flight management computer here. So we go in the menu, the FMC. You can see the model here of the airplane. The position we use the reference. This airport we have the inertial reference position, set inertial. We're gonna use zero fuel weight automatically, reserves 5%. This is the performance initialized 35,300 feet with 100% cost index. Also the route from this airport back to this airport, Lszh back to Lszh, runway 14. So we're gonna use departure runway 14, trans Zurich to Alpha, and arrival Lszh 14, trans Negria 1 Alpha, trans Amity. So we have the legs for the route, activate and execute. So we're gonna use now the flaps 15 degrees, center of gravity 36%, and the V1, V rotate, and V takeoff. With this cross weight for this runway, over here I'm gonna show you later in the flight plan. So we're ready now for takeoff. We need to disarm the parking brakes and advance the thrust levers forward a little bit. We have to use also the tiller for the nozzle steering of the aircraft, nozzle steering, alongside with some and we have 18 more minutes left for this flight, for this video actually to end. So I'm gonna come into the runway. Here is open, so we steer into the runway into alignment with the center line, as you can see. Parking brake set again. So you can see we have all the information here. Also you will see the route here. We have the radar scan, the LNAV for the autopilot flap set, and the horizontal tail trim. So we only need to advance maybe the thrust levers forward. So you can see where we are right now, in this position. That's for takeoff over using this runway. So I'm going to use this view for the outside for the takeoff. We need to advance, maybe use the takeoff go around switch, maybe use take off the tow gas switch like this. So I will disarm the parking brakes and go. And we have about I'm gonna use the steering here, the tiller again, and the rudder pedals. So we have 100 knots, V1, V rotate, and V2, and here we go. So we have the positive climb here of the aircraft. We track the landing gear. So we need to bring it down a little bit. As we keep climbing. So you can see the information here. We have the rate of climb, 6,500 feet per minute. The airspeed 192 knots. The stall speed here, the yellow and the red. And the rate of climb 3,500. We had the radio altitude, we exceeded, and we're flying about 6,500 feet above the sea level. And you can see the flaps also, and on the flight plan here. So we can now start the turn of the airplane to the first waypoint. We keep climbing. And we have about 30 more minutes left to go. So we need to stabilize here. This turn as we turn around to the first waypoint. So I will use the outside view. So you can see A nicer view of the airplane here. We fly with about 600 kilometers an hour right now, or 250 meters a second. So I hope you like the outside view. We have also, you can see the airport, the runways down here, and also the beautiful night sky here. Some other airplanes flying around us. So we keep climbing. So I'm gonna come now inside the cockpit for the rest of the climb procedure. And we have our about 30 more minutes left for this flight. 30 minutes. Pretty much okay. Keep climbing. Show you one more time this view here. So we do the maneuvers, we keep climbing. I also need to set the first waypoint here as we climb out. To transverse this waypoint with also. So we have the stall speed again, the warning, and we keep climbing like this, climb with maximum thrust. We're gonna cross, you can see the 012 at this waypoint, and then come to the next one, 31,000 feet. You can see the airspeed 200 knots. We keep climbing with 1,100 feet per minute. You can see this middle, we are 6,000 meters above 6,500 above this level. The airspeed right now is 0.50 to 0.5 Mach, or about 600 kilometers an hour, 620, 630, about 250 to 60 meters per second. And we increase the rate of climb. So you can see we have to apply this steering now to the next waypoint here as we keep climbing. So this is the view here as we climb out 23,000 feet on it. So we have the chemtrails now, the chemtrails and the contrails. So you have this beautiful display, the frozen vapors, but we have 10 more minutes left in this flight. So we have the Germany and Bayern Munich in front of us. If we keep flying straight, we have the, Switzerland here. So this is the beautiful frozen vapors and the galaxy above us. We're flying with about 700 kilometers an hour right now, 270 meters per second, 35,100 feet above the sea level. So now we have to start coming back into the airport. So this is our spacecraft for tonight, the Boeing 777-300ER. So we keep flying. We have the Germany, the Bayern Munich in front of us, and the Bavarian Alps. So we need to come back. You can see I'm trimming. I need to come back into the airport, so we'll set the airspeed higher here. And retract the flaps now. You can see the auto throttle commands a little bit lower thrust. I will need to stabilize here into this altitude. So we need to turn back to the airport right now. I'm also holding manually, as you can see. This altitude at 25,000 feet. We avoid the stall right now by applying more thrust and holding level the aircraft. So this is the stall avoidance, altitude turning. Manual stall avoidance. We have the Germany, as I told you, in this side, and this is another nicer view here of the airplane. So we have about 9 more minutes left for this flight, generally speaking. Nicer view here of the Boeing 327. We count it here. We have 35,000 feet per minute. We have the entrance and the contrails. So we cross now the Switzerland again. About 7,700 meters or 35,000 feet. We climb with 900 kilometers an hour or 300 meters per second. We should embark into the airport. So you can see the galaxies above us. So this is our spacecraft for tonight, the Boeing 327-300ER airplane. So going back to the airport, ready to set the autopilot now for this altitude. So we have the autopilot connected and we can set the next waypoint direct to here. You will see this information change here, and we have also the approach, the reference approach speed. So we have, generally speaking, about 6 more minutes left for this flight. So I'm gonna start descending the airplane now. So now we're flying with maximum airspeed here, as you can see, and start descent with the autopilot connected. Also use some speed brakes here to slow us down, and also maybe use lower airspeed. We're flying with 900 kilometers an hour. We need to come down. So we're gonna fix this as we descend here to 34,000, 35,000, cross now the 32,400 feet, and keep descending into the airport. So we have coming closer. Most of the information here. 18,000 feet. We have about 5 more minutes left for this simulation. Then you can see the thrust now is automatic. Keep descending. Flying with about 900 kilometers an hour. I'm flying the Zurich. Now we need to disconnect the autopilot and also use the landing gear down and decrease the airspeed also. Use the vol localizer. This information, keep descending. We're flying with 600 kilometers an hour right now. So we need to make that turn now, fly manually. and use the flaps also to be extended. So we have 5 more minutes left for this flight, approximately. So we're flying over the river. We need to come closer a little bit. Add some thrust if we need to go faster into the runway. So we have 3 more minutes left. So we can see where we are right now. 3 more minutes for this video to end. We're overflying the river here. So we're gonna use this view maybe for the touchdown. We need to come closer to the runway. So we need to overcome here. Keep descending. We have the information that we need, the Lszh localizer. We're a little bit higher. Keep descending. So we need to align. We use manual inputs here. Also the rudder pedals to align the airplane. So here we are, parking brakes and reverse thrust, full reverse. $140, $130, $120, 100 knots, 80, 60, 50, 40, and here we are. We just landed, we made it, very nice, very safe with the Boeing 777, even though we were overspeeding. We made 360 kilometers an hour landing. So you can see the nose wheel is perfectly safe here. There is no breakouts of the wheels. It takes a lot of steel to hold the aircraft in the flare. So you can see also the landing gear, no breakage, no broken tires. So we just made it in the runway 14. We can use the airplane again if we need for another flight. So you can see we have the flight. So that was Thomas Hatsios, the pilot captain, flying the Boeing 777 300ER, the British American pilot flying of the US Air Force, flying the Boeing 777 300ER. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next flight. Bye bye. So you can see we can use the airplane again here. morning.